Okay, Phil here again, and yeah, I just wanted to show like a cleaned up version of what I've been doing over the past week or so, I guess. Yeah, it's actually I'm pretty happy with it as it stands at the minute because I've kind of got all of the movement, a couple of enemies, the middle loop, I guess, is the thing, and then I guess for the next week I'm going to be working on the outer loop. So it's going to be really cool to have all of the loops present. I guess is the thing. Anyway, in my last video I was saying how I finally cracked the case of how I was going to spawn buildings and get the player to be able to attack them, but I didn't. I was in a separate project that I used to break out and actually solve the problem because I was getting a little bit distracted with all the stuff that I had in my original project. So now I've put it back into my old project file, and now I have this this whole thing set up, which is nice. So yeah, as you can see, it spawns. Oh, actually, sorry, I just totally made that invisible. What I actually want to do is just get rid of all this debug text. And then just, there we go. Just rerun that. Yeah, so you got your schedule here, and I made a little room selector. I'll probably turn it into an actual pointer once I actually finish, because before I had it where it was flicking between these, like obviously not with a, little ability to move it. It was just flicking between the buildings. So I'm pointing at it. Anyway, so yeah, now it's possible to play it completely with either controller or with the keyboard. I am designing this to be played with the controller. So say you're the player, you start up, you've got your schedule there, you select the building that you want to try and attack. Obviously the buildings will be slightly more interesting looking than just a thing with BLD1 and an underscore. I'm going to take out the ability for the player to attack the building because that's kind of cheating. Yeah, and then basically you'll use the number above the player there is the amount of waves that they've got to spawn to try and build up the building. At the moment still it goes from 10 down to 1 with the hit points of the building, but I actually want it to reflect the building getting built up. That's the whole point of this. Okay, so then you spend one of your spawn in points to try and to spawn in workers. These are going to be they're going to look like kind of if you're Australian, they're going to look like a council worker basically. So orange top. If you see my avatar on the forums, it's pretty much what it looks like. Yeah, so we've destroyed this. Sorry, not destroyed. We've built up this building. The player presses back on the controller, and now you've got the building in the completed zone. You've got the schedule here, and then the player can try tackling another building to see if they get it. Obviously, I haven't actually managed to make it so that the number of waves that the player can use is retained. I'm just going to put that back into the actual arena control thing to keep track of it. But yeah, and I made the decision also to keep the arena control just keeping track of all the stuff that needs to translate between rooms. This is only a 2-room thing. If you use Game Maker, there's only actually 2 rooms or 3 rooms. So the input manager, which manages all of the actual setting up of the controller and all that kind of stuff, using Input Dog by Messhoff Games. They're the guys that made Nidhogg actually. It's a really good extension. You've got the room select, which is this one here. So all you've got is this starts off the screen and then gets put on the screen. This is my arena control and this is my spawning control. So yeah, I'm going to put all the stuff that needs to be kept persistent across these 2 rooms in the arena control object, and then I'm going to make it so that when the buildings are spawned in, they in turn spawn all the other stuff that's going to be in that particular arena. And this means that I can do stuff like having buildings that are split over areas, or like you need to use certain workers to build up certain parts of a building before you can build up the main part of the building, stuff like that, just to make it a little bit more interesting, a little bit more like a puzzle, action puzzle game. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at the moment. Obviously, at the moment I am still using my art assets from Cool Blob Future, mainly because I can't be asked doing any others at the moment. I'm not really in an arty mood this time off, so yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I'm actually really kind of happy with how it is after this past week. The next thing I'll post in my forums is, I'm going to try and do the outer loop, which will be how the player is basically challenged, because otherwise, if there was no way for the buildings to get less, I don't know, built up at a time, then it would probably start getting a little bit too easy, because just the way that I'm trying to design the game. So I want to introduce that kind of outer loop, which will be like a roguelike kind of loop where it's designed for the player to fail a few times at first, but gradually getting more and more powerful and more able to build these buildings. So unlocking different tool kits and all that kind of stuff, and training. The theme of the game will be very, very familiar, or ironic, or cynical. If you are from Australia, the theme will be pretty familiar to you. So I'm hoping that strikes a chord with people that are playing it. Anyway, I'm gonna stop now because I think it's time for me to make dinner. I'll talk to you guys soon.